You've likely heard the news this week that the Oracle, Larry Ellison himself, is bragging that mRNA can be brought to the masses within a very quick amount of time, 48 hours, in order to cure your cancer. Snake oil sales? Is this grift? Well, let's hear his words directly, and then we're going to bring up Dr. Peter McCullough to get his thoughts about what we're just seeing.
Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Dr. Peter McCullough, welcome back to America Emboldened. I heard this and I knew that I had to get a moment of your time because we've talked over the past several years about pericarditis, myocarditis being linked to mRNA technology and vaccines and studies. Is this snake oil? What is going on with the Trump administration raising this as one of the top things the first week? What am I missing?
America would have loved to hear from a qualified oncologist to try to explain how AI could help cancer care. Now, I'm an internist and a cardiologist. I take care of patients with cancer. Let me tell you, artificial intelligence could help by gathering all the complicated medical records, laboratory tests, imaging, PET scans, histopathology, genetics, integrating it all, and help characterize the cancer, particularly from a molecular perspective. So AI could definitely help. AI could also help in the selection of the best approach. They could help cancer doctors. There are so many cancer treatment protocols. Some cancers have to be surgically removed. Specific chemotherapy or radiation is curative. Natural products play a role. So I wrote a Substack on this. I have nothing against AI, but it's going to be unlikely that AI, Greg, is going to select a messenger RNA vaccine, out of all the different cancer treatments.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess my question would be the start. We've talked about what mRNA might have done with pericarditis, myocarditis. Are we talking about the exact same possibilities with a cancer vaccine, or is this two different things about what we talked about previously in COVID vaccines versus what Larry Ellison's kind of putting out there?
Well, let's talk about a mRNA vaccine used right now in cancer treatment trials, and it's the Moderna vaccine for melanoma. And it's really not a vaccine, but it's really more a part of combination chemotherapy. So about 38% of cancers use what's called immune checkpoints that they hide from the immune system. So the only thing a messenger RNA product could do would be to, generate cancer proteins and then have the body's immune system rise up against the cancer proteins. But if the cancer is hiding, it's useless. So Moderna is using its product with Keytruda, which is a Merck product. It's what's called immune checkpoint inhibitor. And it's very toxic. Believe me, people who are getting both the Moderna vaccine and Keytruda have serious side effects. Now, there is progress being made in melanoma. There is a percent of people who have lesser degree of spread of melanoma, but it's not curing cancer in any way. It's all on the Courageous Discourse Substack. One of the problems with messenger RNA is there's no way to shut it off. Okay, so that's going to be a huge problem. And there's no way to target it. You can't just make it go to the tumor. And messenger RNA seems to, as you've implicated, it does target the heart. So as the messenger RNA produces cancer proteins in the heart, it's going to cause problems.
Wow. So why do you think we're seeing at the very beginning of this administration this focus on artificial intelligence and this renewed push back in the mRNA technology? And the reason I ask is many people that I spoke with over the last several years, that was the one knock against the last administration, was they started the Operation Warp Speed. They're very concerned this could lead to Operation Warp Speed 2.0, rushing us into an era that they did not ask for. RFK Jr. hasn't been accepted yet into his nomination. They haven't approved him. And so the Maha movement hasn't really had an opportunity to speak up on this issue. So what do you think is driving this new technology age, AI, and the concerns for people seeing, is this 2.0? We're seeing what Donald Trump started all over again.
Yeah, well, there's two parts to that. One is the substantive part, and then the process part of that. So many have said, listen, if Trump is going to get up there with Larry Ellison and two other tech magnates that and present a medical idea, it just goes to show you it's just poor advice, whether it's Trump, Susie Wiles, whoever else is kind of in that. Get somebody from the National Cancer Institute up there, get a qualified oncologist. We have plenty of them, and let them explain it. One of the things we've seen throughout the pandemic is we've seen the emergence of non-experts getting up, and they're way outside their field. Larry Ellison should not be trying to describe cancer or messenger RNA. Larry Ellison, smart guy, but he was a pre-med student at University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana. He dropped out to actually take care of his mom who was sick, but he never returned. I'm not even sure he has a college degree. It takes decades for oncologists to really understand cancer and present it. Everything I put in my Substack about clinically assembling the information, really detailing the cancer, pointing to novel treatments. Usually cancer has multiple causes, so it needs multiple treatments. All that's legitimate. Even messenger RNA being a part of combination chemotherapy is also possible. It's obviously being tested in trials. Maybe messenger RNA could produce safe humanized proteins that are anti-cancer proteins. That's within the realm of possibility. But what we need to have the return of qualified experts, not try to get out there and sell America on something. Trump didn't look good. His new administration didn't look good. And quite honestly, Larry Ellison and the two other AI experts didn't look good.
Yeah, it was a strange thing for me. I'll ask you another question here about maybe the privacy of our medical information. As a cardiologist for years, and now being on the front lines of trying to raise awareness for people's medical freedom, I'm concerned about technology that's going to put all of our data into some type of system where people can see, here's Greg Boulden's health issues, run it through AI. The security of that type of system in the future to protect all of our citizens, both here in the United States, but really all the world's population. I believe from what it looks like with Oracle and these companies, that what they would like to do is be able to get a human genome, so to speak, in order to try to get a, not a one size fits all, but a very detailed view to health. How do you protect people's medical safety of information so it doesn't become later on hacked, go into employers? Do you think that there's a way that we can manage this that is responsible for the patient?
We have the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act right now, HIPAA, which is draconian, and it does lock down information. There's no sharing of medical information anywhere, and there certainly is no integration. So if I see a patient in the office and I have office notes, they're not integrated with a genetic test that I order, and we have to go into separate systems for that. So if AI is going to assemble all that, we're going to have to address HIPAA. So HIPAA does provide, protection of personal health information. It's a huge barrier to patient care. Let me tell you, as a doctor, I'd rather see everything in one place because I have the patient right in front of me. But that was addressed back in Clinton's advisory panel to healthcare many years ago, and it's going to be a barrier for AI. So, I think that the Trump administration is off to a pretty good start initially, but this one right here, you'd think, the second go around, Trump would say, you know what, I want to bring in a cancer doctor and and be careful on this before this is presented to America. I mean, Larry Ellison presenting essentially a messenger RNA vaccine in 48 hours to cure cancer was, as you said, that's about as close to selling snake oil as you're going to get in the modern day.
Yeah, that was shocking to me, and I know that it's going to be something that we need to stay on top of, informing people, doing interviews. So I really appreciate you taking the time this morning to sit down with me, just to give me the baseline, talk me off the ledge, so to speak, of me panicking as I'm going through here. What's on your radar? What's coming up as we get into this new administration, this new era, I believe, in America? What are the top concerns that Dr. McCullough has and things that you're going to try to be working on in 2025?
Well, we saw some hints of this with one of the executive orders restoring all of our military servicemen and women who refused the COVID vaccines, and they with back pay all the way to the very beginning of it. So that I think that said a lot. I'd like to see all mandates of all types for vaccines and medicines go away, have complete free choice. No kid should ever be mandated to take a vaccine to go to school, or somebody mandated to take a shot to go to work. And that happened to me with the influenza vaccines and COVID vaccines. That should never happen. And no vaccines for the military, none. People can take them if they want personal protection with advice in their doctor. So I think elimination of mandates for vaccines. We'd like to see the Vaccine Injury Compensation Act be rescinded, so the companies would have full liability. And if they're not going to put out safe products, then they'll pull them off the market. You'll see that happen pretty quickly. I think the third thing is, getting rid of all direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising. It's just misleading the public. It's expensive, raises the cost of drugs. And I think the big ticket out there, number 4, I don't know if it's going to happen, is to pull the COVID-19 vaccines off the market. No one's taking these. I was concerned that the final population forced to take them was children, because they are part of the routine childhood schedule, which is mandated, again, by most schools. And then Daniel O'Connor at Trial Site News broke the news that there's not a single state that's enforcing COVID shots for children. So that's good news. So again, the state, why have a mandate if the states aren't going to even enforce it? So the bottom line is we should just get rid of the COVID shots. No one wants them. No one's taking them.
Well, I appreciate your time coming on here today. For the listeners, everybody, you can check out the McCullough Foundation. It's at mcculloughfnd.org. It's a place where you can donate in order to help fight for medical freedom, get the scientific data and the work that Dr. McCullough has been doing tirelessly for the last 4 years. And Dr. McCullough, I wish you well, continued success in getting the message out there. And thank you so much, as always, for making time for the audience.
Thanks. Great.